In this quick video, I'm going to challenge what other property trainers are teaching to be a good strategy in property. Now, although I tend not to use buy-to-let because it's one of the most basic strategies, it is actually very effective. Now, you may have seen videos of people saying things like rent-to-rent's a good strategy, serviced accommodation's a good strategy, HMOs, and they're debunking the fact that buy-to-let doesn't work anymore. Let me tell you why it does, and it's just a lack of education and a lack of awareness is the reason why they believe that. So I've got my flip chart here and I'm going to draw something out. So let's say, for example, we have an investment property and that property is 70k, so £70,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You can't get £70,000 properties in my area. So first of all, I've got a question for you. Are you a f***ing tree? No, I thought not. So that means you can invest in other areas. I've bought properties in Egypt. When I was in Afghanistan and Iraq, I was buying properties back here in the UK. So you certainly don't have to buy properties purely in your area. So let's take an investment property of 70,000. The reason why I use this is these kind of properties give really high yields. So let's say it was a 75% LTV loan to value, meaning the banks will give you 75% of £70,000. So let's work that out. So on our phone, we would put in 70,000 times by 0.75 gives us 52,500. So I'm going to write 52,500 over here. So a couple of years back when interest rates were really low, we could have got a buy-to-let mortgage on a limited company for around about 3.5%. So 3.5% interest rate. So let's work it out. 52,000 times by 3.5 divided by 100 is an annual amount of 183750. So for ease of maths, I'm going to call it 1,837. So a monthly amount, if we divide it by 12, it gives us £153 per month. £153 per month. Interest rates have shot up, but let me show you why that doesn't really matter. £70,000 property, same loan to value, 52,500. Current interest rate on 52,500, we're now looking at probably around about 5.2%, which takes the yearly amount to 2,730. On this amount, takes us to £2,730. Let's divide that by 12. Takes us to £227 per month. So we've gone up from £153 a month to £227 a month, which is virtually a 50% increase. And it's the reason why people think this strategy's killed, but it's not. Because back then, because we've had a massive inflation increase, and especially on rent, and especially in places like the Northeast, so a property like this, I've been doing property now for coming up 20 years next year, and I would have been getting up to very recently on a property like this, around about £450 per calendar month. But now on that same £70,000 property, I'm getting £700 per calendar month, which is an increase of £250. So 250, and we know the difference here is just over £70, meaning I'm almost £180 better off per month on a property like that. Now, that's a quick example. Normally, I don't really teach buy-to-let because I've got far more creative strategies. So if you're seeing things like rent to rent is a good strategy, I'm telling you now, it is one of the weakest strategies you can use. Think about it logically now. Rent to rent is a creative strategy. So you take a property from somebody else, and let's say you agree £400 a month, and you now go rent it out for say 700. So there's a margin that you can make, which is great. But here's the thing, if you know how to structure deals without any money, you don't have to use rent to rent. You can actually buy the asset too. Now here's something which I do and teach in property. You should make money on day one. You should also make money off your rent, and you should make money on the capital growth too. So 3 different areas. Rent to rent only makes money on the rent. So only one of the 3 areas. So if I could show you how to buy properties using creative things like bridging finance, deferred consideration, and getting joint venture finance, you would be able to make money on day one because I'd show you how to buy below market value. You'd also be able to make money on your rent, just like this, and you'd also get the capital growth too. And here's another thing if that didn't convince you enough. I've watched people who use rent-to-rent strategies that build up a great big amount of income, sometimes as much as £100,000 per annum, and the landlords go take the properties back. And all of that hard work is undone. Yet if you own the assets yourself, you will be in control. So if you'd like to do some training with me, if you'd like me to guide you the proper way, then around here you'll see a link. Get on a call with one of my coaches. I'd love to see you in my private group, and I could be guiding you as quickly as the next couple of days to help you achieve your goals. Thank you, Stephen. If you're still not convinced, if you've got Netflix, head on there now, Series 6, Episode 3, The Greens and the Gowlands, and you'll be able to see the journey with me and Ben, the Greens and the Gowlands, and you'll be able to see how I help them go from their situation into the place that they are today, and now on board as part of my team. And Ben will also be helping you achieve your goals. So go check that out on Netflix, Series 6, Episode 3, and I hope to see you on some training very soon. Thank you, Stephen.